A fallacy is an invalid argument. The conclusion cannot follow from the premises, or doesn't necessarily follow from the premises, even if they're true. And so the fallacy affirming the consequent, which is the one that relativism seems to make, is as such. This is just the logical structure. It says if P, then Q, Q, therefore P. And to make this clear, let's plug in the argument that relativism makes into this structure. So if there is no universal right or wrong, we can expect to find diverse values, beliefs, etc. We do in fact find diverse values, beliefs, norms, etc. Therefore, there is no universal right or wrong. Now, when you go through it quickly like that, it probably sounds like it makes sense. And that's one of the tricky things about fallacies. They tend to sound right if we use certain information in the argument. So usually the way to illuminate the problems with the fallacy is to put in new premises in the argument that obviously state something that is a contradiction or a problem. So let's take this one. If I like the band Nickelback, then we can expect to find Nickelback CDs in stores all over America. We do in fact find Nickelback CDs in stores all over America. Therefore, I like Nickelback. And again, going through that quickly like that, it may not be entirely apparent what the problem is with that. The problem is with, for one, the first sentence is a problem. The second sentence is true. We do find Nickelback CDs in stores all over America. But when we look at the first one, it says, if I like Nickelback, we can expect to find Nickelback CDs in stores all over America. And it might be the case that I like Nickelback and that we can expect to find Nickelback CDs in stores all over America, or it might be the case that we do find them in stores all over America. But this is stating something that's similar to cause and effect. It's not necessarily a case that, well, it's not the case that just because I like Nickelback, there are going to be CDs all over America in stores because I like Nickelback. One thing just doesn't have to do with the other. And so drawing that conclusion just doesn't work because of the logical structure that that follows, and that is the affirming the consequence argument. So let's look at this using a valid argument and try to argue for relativism using a valid argument. And the argument we use here is modus ponens. And it sounds, affirming the consequent, the reason it probably sounds correct is because it mimics modus ponens, which is a valid argument. And it says, if P, then Q, P, therefore Q. So let's take the Nickelback topic again and plug it into modus ponens. If Nickelback sucks, then I hate Nickelback. Nickelback does in fact suck. Therefore, I hate Nickelback. So this is a valid argument because this first sentence is kind of a cause and effect relationship. I hate Nickelback because they suck. It is the case that they suck. Therefore, I hate Nickelback. And so, let's go back to the relativism and try to argue in favor of it using this valid argument. If there is diversity, there is no objective right or wrong. There is in fact diversity with respect to principles of right and wrong. Therefore, there is no objective right and wrong. Now that's a valid argument, but the problem is that one of the premises is false. So that's what we call an unsound argument. Arguments are sound if they are valid and the premises are true. So if the conclusion necessarily follows the premises and all of the premises are true, then an argument is sound. This is an unsound argument. So what's the problem with it? Well, the second premise is true. There is diversity. The first sentence is incorrect. There's no cause and effect relationship there between diversity and objective right and wrong. It could be the case that there is objective right and wrong, and that there still is diversity. So that would mean that people either don't know about the truth about objective right and wrong, or that they're just rebelling against it. Or it could be the case that there is no objective right and wrong, and there is conformity in belief about right and wrong. There might just be a meaningless, orderless, system where there is no right and wrong, and just everybody conforms to a specific belief about right and wrong. So that's the problem with the affirming the consequent problem in the disadvantages to relativism. The next problem, this is a big problem also, this is probably one of the biggest problems with relativism. It leads to prima facie wrong conclusions. Prima facie just means on the face of, immediately apparent problems. So, the gold standard for talking about ethics is the National Socialist German Worker Party, the Nazis. The Nazis came to power in the 1920s and 30s. Germany was suffering terrible economic problems and international humiliation at the end of World War II. And so this Nazi party rose to power, and it remedied a lot of these problems and gained popular support. The Germans felt it was justifiable to eliminate and oppress those considered to be a threat or a weakness, a threat to or a weakness in Germany, and that it was also contributing to the greater good to invade other countries and to develop a German empire. Now, relativism would say we can't judge German culture except for the ethical standards that Germans had for themselves at the time. So from within that culture, it was okay for them to do those things. And so we can't make a good or bad judgment about them. We just say, well, that's just what they believed at the time, and we can't really say that it's right or wrong. And I think, no, I'm not going to say I think, I know we all agree that what the Germans did, what the Nazis did, was wrong. We just know it in our gut that it was wrong. And this is where we get back to morality. Ethical theories try to make sense of that feeling, that view that this is right and this is wrong. And they kind of come after the fact to try to explain that. And then once they're out there, they can kind of help us navigate stuff that's less obvious than these gut feelings. And this also means that we can't make positive judgments and positive evaluations of values, norms, behaviors, etc. So that means we can't really praise Mother Teresa for what she did, because what she did occurred within the context of another culture. And that just doesn't seem correct. It seems like we can say Mother Teresa did the right thing,